Hi guys. Today we're going to talk about multiplying, but multiplying with a power of 10. It's kind of a shortcut. And if you can't figure out what I'm saying here, you can always go off to the side and do it. We're going to do it both ways so you can see how I can simply move the decimal instead of actually doing the multiplication because we're dealing with all ones and zeros. We're going to start out in the middle. So I want you to look here at 12.5 times 1. Well, any number times 1 stays the same. So 12.5 times 1 is going to equal 12.5. But what happens when I multiply it by a bigger number than 1? Say 10. Well, if I go off to the side, 12.5 times 10, I multiply first, ignore the decimals. Then I count decimal places. There's 1, none here, so that decimal would go here. So it's going to equal 125, the decimal's at the end. Now, we all know if the decimal's at the end, we don't have to put it there, but if you did want to put it there, that would be fine. So basically, 1 0, I'm looking for a pattern, 1 0, and I move the decimal one place. What do you think is going to happen when I have 2 zeros? Well, when I have 2 zeros, I'm probably going to move the decimal 2 places, in which case I'd have to annex a 0. Let's see if that works. 12.5 times 100. Multiply first, so I'm going to put 2 zeros to get over to where my 1 is. 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 2, and 1 times 1. And I have 1 move to get the decimal to the end here, none there. So to match on the bottom, it would in fact be 1,250. So now we know if I have 3 zeros, I'm going to move the decimal 1, 2, 3 places. That's going to be 12,500. Okay, pretty easy, right? When we're dealing with the power of 10, we do not even have to do this multiplying off to the side if we understand the shortcut. Now let's look at what happens when we go with tiny numbers. 1/10, 100, and 1,000th. Okay, well, 12.5 times 0.1, ignore the decimals, and we multiply. And then we count decimal places. 1, 2. So that decimal would be here. So it would match 1.25. One number after the decimal, and I move that decimal one place, only this time I move it to the left. So now I have 2 numbers after the decimals, and we do have to count the 1 because it's holding a spot for us. 1, 2. We're going to make 2 moves to the left. 0.125. We're going to do the same thing here. 1, 2, 3 numbers after the decimal. 1, 2, 3 moves to the left. Annex a 0 whenever we see that empty spot, and the answer will be 0.0125. So this is what I wanted to teach you, this shortcut here that can be very, very helpful when you have that number sense of what the power of 10 can do. We're going to work on some example problems here. So we're going to start. I'm going to zoom it in a little bit. I'm doing this at home, so it's a different camera system. Okay. 0.762 times 100. Well, when they're bigger numbers, we don't count the 1, we just count the zeros. And that's 2 zeros. And the decimal is going to be moved which way? To the right or to the left? Well, this number is going to get bigger. It's going to the right. So we're going to go 1, 2. And this answer will be 76.2. Let's look at number 2. 154.6 times 10. That's 1 0, 1 move to the right, and the answer would be 1,546. You think you could do 3 on your own? I bet you can. I think you're probably getting really good at this. 1, 2, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3 moves, and I'm going to have to annex 2 zeros there. So the answer becomes 100. Ooh, but check it out. Number 4. This is a tiny number. Okay? So we're going to count the numbers after the decimal. This 0 really doesn't even matter, does it? They're on the far ends. It's not holding a spot. If a 0 is not between other numbers and 0 or decimals, it does not matter. So we're going to just look at the 3 numbers after the decimal. That's 1, 2, 3. And this time the decimal is going to move to the left. 1, 2, 3. So the answer becomes 0.0248. Okay. Let's look at number 5, another tiny number, 0.01. 2 numbers after the decimal, 2 moves to the left, 0.0006. We had to annex 1 0, and we're still keeping our other 2 zeros. Okay. 5.5 times 0.1. Now this is not 5.5 times 1. It's 0.1, 1/10. So we still count that number after the decimal, and we move the decimal 1 place to the left, and this becomes 0.55. All right. Now here's more of where you would see this in maybe the real world. Why do we learn this? We learn this because it's important. In the 2007 census year, the population of the Philippines was 88.57 million. Write the number in standard form. Using words is not standard form. They want it to be a number. That's our standard form. So we have this 88.57, and we're going to multiply that by 1,000,000. And do you guys remember how many zeros are on after the 1 for million? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is 1,000,000. So we're going to count zeros because it's a big number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to move that decimal 6 places. 1, 2 around the 7, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to have to annex those zeros, and it becomes 8, 8, 5, 7, 4 zeros. And it makes sense, guys, because this is 88.57 million. We know that 88 million, 88,570,000. Makes sense. Andrew is building a scale model of the Eiffel Tower, which is 1,063 feet tall. If Andrew's model is 1,000th the height of the actual tower, how tall will Andrew's model be? We have 1063. What's 1,000th look like? Well, let's remember our decimal place values. First number is the 10th spot, not tenths. The next is the hundredths. It's not hundredths, it's the thousandths. So we put the 1 there to let us know that's where we're ending. This is 1,000th. So we're going to move the decimal 1, 2, 3 places to the left, but I don't see a decimal. How can I move the decimal when I don't see one? Well, remember, if there's no decimal, we just assume it's at the end. Now we can move it 1, 2, 3 spots. to the left, 1, 2, 3 spots, and it becomes 1.063 feet. C. Tomorrow we're going to work on dividing with powers of 10, and then we're getting very close to finishing this unit, decimals, and taking our test by the end of the week. Bye-bye.